Live.
Live.
Welcome, everybody. All right.
Chili Go Live.
Chili Go Live. Wait a few seconds, then we'll start. This is a fun subject,
Yeah.
and one that is, there's much more to it than everybody thinks.
And we get asked about it a lot, so it's a good topic to have for our live today.
Wait a few seconds for a few people to pop on. It is sort of, you can't see it.
It's hard, yeah.
So just so you guys know, when you pop on there, let us know where you're watching from. We always love to see that. Mama! We love to see everyone where you're watching from, and then let us know. And then this is a subject that's pretty awesome. So, you know, the when is the best time to do the cold tub, and there's different answers based on needs, on every goals, training, everything, age, the whole thing. And we've even been asked these questions by, you know, professional athletes, professional teams, and even themselves, they have questions on when is best.
Yeah.
And again, it's a little bit more like designing a workout program.
I was just gonna say, because even sometimes your personal schedule will kind of adjust when is the best time.
Absolutely. Kim is the babysitter today.
Oh, hey Ken.
What's going on? Karen, Kim. All right, we got a couple people on there. We'll give another second, and then we'll start. You want to start?
Well, I thought it was an interesting, just to give a brief story. We were talking to an individual, maybe right around 50 years old, pretty fit person who cares about longevity, and was asking about when is the best time to do the cold tub. And Ben was talking to him about going pre-workout, maybe about an hour before working out, and that's what works really well for him. He's trying to maintain muscle, maybe not grow new muscle, but definitely maintain what he has. Ben is right about the same age as this individual that was talking to us. And the guy was like, I am not getting up an hour earlier just to cold tub to prepare for, you know, my morning, you know, PT or whatever. And Ben was like, then, you know, we can make an adjustment, or you can make an adjustment on when is the best time. And that's true. Like, this is not an easy thing to do. And if waking up or going at a time that doesn't work really well for your schedule, it's going to be a very easy thing to not do.
Cast aside.
Even as great as you feel, as you know, when you get out. It's like going for a run. You know, you feel great when you're done, or you're most of the time, but that like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. On the mornings that it's cold,
Sure.
and we live in Connecticut, it's a challenge. It's an additional mental challenge to do it when it's already cold and you're not interested in being that cold. You know, so it definitely adds a component to it.
Sure.
But the other thing is, I'm also not rolling out of bed.
Right.
So it's very
Right,
easy
exactly,
to say
right,
that.
yeah.
When we're not traveling, we're meeting here about 8:30 in the morning. I'm typically up by 5:30, 6. So
Yeah.
I've had coffee. I've been awake for a while. You know, and as it's getting colder, I'm in a sweatshirt. I'm feeling, you know, nice and cozy. But it's
Right.
not like I'm rolling out of bed and going right to the cold tub. I know a lot of people that do that. They all say the same thing: better than any cup of coffee you ever had.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, I'm not doing that. So it's sort of funny. Everybody's different take on this. But there are some rules, or some guidelines, maybe is a better word, that we should all sort of follow based on your training program, and that's what we're going to focus on today.
Sure.
Okay, so I guess you want me to start? You want to start?
Sure. Well, I guess one of the things is, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, is depending on your goal and depending on your age is going to make a difference as to when is the best time to do the cold tub. So if your goal is muscle growth and you're bodybuilding or you're training for something specific and your goal is to build muscle, or maintain muscle as a younger person, like maybe between like 18 and 50, then pre-workout is going to be the best time to do your cold tub. Because there is some research that suggests that post-workout, if your goal is bodybuilding, muscle growth, you may attenuate that muscle growth by going directly into the cold tub after the workout. Again, going back to schedule-wise, if your schedule doesn't allow for that pre-workout, then you want to wait at least 5 to 6 hours post-workout before going in the cold tub. And for those true bodybuilders, like maybe you're competing, you may not want to do it that day if it's doesn't fit into your schedule to go pre-workout. So, but there's some adjustments if you have different goals as well.
So, right, that's exactly right, and also the age is a factor. So, as we're getting older, inflammation is rising in our bodies, and if you're above a certain age, doing the cold tub after a workout, even with weights, if the goal is muscle growth or strength, where it's actually going to bring you down into the sweet spot of where you want to be post-workout, inflammation-wise. So the problem is that there's no magic chart,
right?
And you just have to kind of take your best guess on where you're at in life. So the only, I can comment on a few people that we've worked with specifically on this, but obviously mostly ourselves. So I will be 50 on Monday. I'm lean, 192 pounds. I'm not looking for new muscle tissue at all. I don't need any more. I'm plenty big. It was always my goal when I was younger was to be bigger. It's not anymore. I'm fine with where it's at now. So now the goal is to maintain that muscle tissue. So I don't really want to fool with doing it right afterwards unless I have a reason. We'll talk about that next. So I do it before. And then we talked about logistics and scheduling. So this is obviously not our homes. Mary lives about 5 minutes from here, and I live about 20 minutes from here. Maybe she lives 7.
Yeah.
But I'm not driving back down 5 or 6 hours later, 20 minutes down, 20 minutes back to do a
and he doesn't have a
3 to
cold tub
5.
at his house.
Right, and this is where our cold tubs are. So, and we have 2 sitting here. So it's just not realistic logistically. Like that gentleman who said, I'm not getting up an hour earlier so that I can, cold tub and then be ready and warmed back up naturally by the time I do my training.
Right.
So it's just not a realistic thing. So you need to plug this in like any other thing that's related to fitness, wellness, or health. It's a habit, and it needs to be done in a way that's realistic for you to do for a long period of time. So
not sit in the cold water a long period of time, just a sustainable
right.
habit.
Right, yes. Hypothermia never allows to fight.
Right.
So, good catch. So, but take yesterday, for example. So we were traveling for 10 or 12 days, but we ended up missing the 2 weekends we typically don't train on, and then we missed a solid week of training. We're both CrossFitters, so when we miss a week and then we start back in full force, we're fairly sore.
Yep.
I was going to say fairly if someone else thought something else was coming out. It wasn't. I was actually looking for fairly. So yesterday, my knees were cranky. I'm going to be 50. We've raced Ironman. We've done a lot of things, and I felt cranky, and this week is going to be harder than normal. Usually we're training 4 to 5 times a week, 3 to 5 times a week. This week's going to be 6, and Saturday is going to be big. It's going to be hours worth of training. So I knew that I was going to I wasn't worried about muscle growth or maintaining or anything. I was really worried about performance and feeling good during this week's evolution because it's going to be hard. So I did it yesterday right after the workout, and I'm fine. I didn't shrink overnight. It's not that damaging, to the weightlifters who are really focusing on building muscle tissue. But it was a performance thing, and likewise, when we go to CrossFit events or competitions of any kind, CrossFit or otherwise, they're going in between rounds to bring inflammation down, to reduce soreness so that they can perform. It's not about new muscle growth during those events. It's about performance, and for all of our pros, it's about winning.
And that would be similar to an endurance athlete who has a long run or a long bike ride, and they've got another training session for the next day that's maybe just as challenging,
Sure.
and they need to bring that inflammation down relatively quickly so that they can perform their best the next day. Or even like if you're doing 2-a-days, if you're running in the morning and running in the evening, going after a run or bike ride that you're doing 2-a-days, it would be good in between to kind of immediately reduce that pain and inflammation if that is, you have to go again the next day.
Actually, that brings up a great point. We recently met a Greek professional marathoner. He was awesome. What a fabulous guy. It was so much fun to speak with him. And he specifically came up and wanted to talk about when for him specifically. Now, I sort of enjoyed the fact that he was Greek and a marathoner, since that's that whole, that's how it started thing. And but he was a lovely human, and it was so much fun. You missed that. You would have enjoyed it, and you would have enjoyed him.
Yeah.
He was fairly easy to look at for the ladies. So actually, he was a little thicker than I would have expected. So he had some muscle tissue on him. Anyway, so what we talked about was on your long base runs on that work, and this goes for all of our endurance athletes. On a long foundation work, your lower zone stuff, you're fine to go in the cold tub afterwards. If you want to wait a little bit, that's fine. But on your strengthening days, those days, those VO2 max, those anaerobic days where they're just hammering sprints and you're really looking for that strengthening and that muscle growth, I would treat that personally. I would treat that exactly as if it were a weight training workout. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Right.
Because you want some of that natural inflammation. Because natural inflammation is also healing. So when you're training for something specific, you want that inflammation to help heal your muscles directly after. So that is why our body naturally does that inflammation after a training session.
Okay, so I've got a scenario for you to answer. When is best?
Oh boy.
I'm going to put you right on the spot.
Okay.
You know this stuff. So this is fun. 58-year-old female.
Okay.
Standard exercise, just eats correctly, and is an avid walker, trim, just a healthy person.
Yep.
When is best? So focus is primarily wellness, longevity. When is the best time, in your opinion?
Yeah, I would say in the morning is a good time because it's going to help give some energy for the rest of the day. It's going to help. I just think that it's a hard thing to do. Personally, I don't
It is
want
hard for you to do.
So if you're able to get over something that hard first thing in the morning, it just sets up a good situation for the rest of the day. It helps to build some of that grit. It's going to help with.
So you're putting mental benefits
stuff
first, right?
Sure,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, because physically she can go at any time.
Yep.
She's 58. Maybe she's concerned about maintaining muscle, but maybe she's not concerned about building, like bodybuilding. So I would say first thing in the morning is a great time. If she's like going through menopause, then keeping it in that like 50 to 55 degree range. It could also help lower that core temperature so that if she struggles with hot flashes, that could also help as well. So I think morning is a good time to do it, kind of like get the day going in a positive way.
Very cool. Very cool. There are some scenarios that are, I don't want, wrong is a big word. It would be ill-advised. But if that's all you could do, depending on the goals, it's probably okay. But these are just things that are coming out now as far as the research goes for best practices. And obviously, people who are like us, like most of the folks that we work with, they are focused on wellness, fitness, and ultimately injury prevention, mental health, well-being, all this stuff that we could just kind of encapsulate under the umbrella of well-being.
Right. Just see if there's any questions.
Go ahead. And it's just crucial that we do this correctly and practice best practices, if that makes sense.
All right, I think we're good on questions. We've got some good,
questions will come on later.
If you have any questions,
about timing for cold tub, especially timing around workouts, please post them and we will come back and look at them later on today. But we just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of the best time to do cold tub depending on your fitness goals. And we will be back, I think in 2 weeks, 5th, 6th, 7th, I think it's November 7th, or 6th, November 6th.
I feel like it's the 6th.
Yeah, 6th. So we will.
2 weeks from today.
Yeah, 2 weeks from today. And what's happening, Ben? Hey,
Sean,
hey,
thank
Sean.
you.
Yep. All right. So we'll see everybody in 2 weeks. Again, if you have any questions, post them here.
Post them and we'll pop on and answer
Yep.
them
And
and start working on all this stuff. This is
everybody-
the good stuff.
Yeah. Everybody have a great night.